Let me share with you what may be actually breaking your team. It's not pressure, it's not accountability, it's not standard, it's hopelessness. Because people don't quit when things are hard. They quit when they believe that their effort just doesn't matter anymore. 7 minutes, one truth, one execution move. If you're a leader who's tired of repeating yourself, tired of agreement without execution, and tired of carrying the emotional weight of everyone else's performance, you're in the right place. I'm Chris Hunsicker, and this is the Dealership War Room. This isn't motivation. This isn't theory. This is a daily leadership briefing for people who actually have to produce results in the arena, at work, and at home. 7 minutes, one truth, and one execution move. You're in the war room now. So let's go. Let's connect the dots from this week. On Monday, we talked about the wake that you leave, what people feel after you walk away. On Tuesday, we exposed the myth of the untouchable high performer and the hidden cultural cost that they almost always carry. On Wednesday, we talked about shame-based coaching and why fear looks like performance until it doesn't. And then Thursday, we flipped the mirror instead of intent versus impact, fairness versus trust. And now, here's what sits underneath all of it. None of those tools matter if your people don't believe the effort leads somewhere. And that belief is called hope. And hope is not soft. Hope is not cheerleading. And hope is definitely not the rah-rah positivity. Hope's not lowering your standards. Hope is evidence. It's evidence your effort matters, that growth is possible, that today connects to tomorrow, that leadership will be fair, and that standards are real and human. Let me give you a story that explains this better than any framework. Researchers once placed rats in a cylinder filled with water. No ladder, no platform, no escape. The first group swam really hard, and they would swim around up top, and then they'd go down and look for an exit. Couldn't find anyone, kept swimming around on top, and then finally, after a short period of time, they just stopped swimming. About 15 minutes in, not because they were weak, but because they gave up. Then the researchers ran the same experiment again, this time just before the rats reached exhaustion. Before that 15-minute point, they pulled them out, dried them off, and let them rest. Then they put them back in the same water, same conditions, same difficulty. But this time, those rats, I want you to think, how long do you think they swam? Not minutes, hours more. And why? Because they had proof that effort led somewhere. You see, as a leader, this matters. Your job is not to rescue your team. Your job is to prove that effort is worth it. And that's hope. And here's the uncomfortable truth. So many leaders, they don't intentionally kill hope. They just don't realize how often they're actually doing it. Think about every time you move the goalposts without explanations, protect bad behavior because results matter, or correct without reconnecting, when you vent frustration instead of teaching, and when you explain intent instead of just owning your impact, you quietly send a message. Why try? It isn't going to matter anyway. Once people believe that, pressure stops working, accountability stops working, even incentives stop working, because hopeless people don't rebel, they disengage. And elite leaders, they understand something different. Hope is a multiplier. Standards without hope feel oppressive. Feedback without hope feels personal. Change without hope feels exhausting. When hope is present, people fight longer. They stay open to coaching. They recover faster from mistakes. And they take ownership instead of hiding mistakes. And here's the key. Hope's not a personality trait. It's a leadership behavior. You create it by watching your wake and what you leave behind you, by holding standards without humiliation, by judging yourself by your results and your team by their effort, and by letting people see progress, even if it's small wins. Being fair when it would be easier to just be right. See, hope doesn't come from speeches. It comes from consistent leadership behavior. And that proves effort leads somewhere. It matters. You can win. A quick pause. If this week has shifted how you think about leadership, please, I invite you to hit like and subscribe. This channel exists to help leaders create results without breaking people. And I don't want you missing what's coming next. So let's land this. Here's the final execution move for the whole week. And I call this your wake commitment. All I would ask you to do is pick one behavior you'll practice this week that proves effort leaves someone. Not 10 things, one. And maybe it's something really simple like acknowledging progress publicly or holding a standard calmly instead of emotionally, closing the loop on a promise that you made and forgot about, protecting culture over convenience. Then do it consistently because hope doesn't come from intensity, it comes from reliability. And if you would, drop in the comments right now, does your team need more hope or more pressure? Just pick one. That answer tells you exactly where to lead next. And if this week has been hitting a little bit close to home and you're realizing, man, I don't need more pressure, I need better leadership tools. And that's where your next win comes from. That's exactly why we built the Velocity Mastermind. This is where driven leaders come to really sharpen their execution skills, to lead without burnout, and to hold standards without killing belief. Become the kind of leader people fight with and not against. And if you're ready to grow your leadership capacity, scan the QR code you see on the screen and apply to join the Velocity Mastermind because you don't have to figure this out alone. Your team doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be aware, fair, and consistent because that's how culture changes. That is how execution sticks. This is the wake that you lead. So today, go out, create some leadership fire, and I'll see you next week in the Dealership War Room.